Good morning. Starting my phone a little earlier today, just outside my door, because that is a lot faster than waiting until I sit down to pull out my phone. And I'm running. Too bad, just 5 minutes late. Oh. I don't know about everybody else who has full-time jobs, but some days I just have a little trouble getting up right on time. But I mean, I still work 8 hours, so it doesn't really matter. As long as I'm not too late. Oh. Anyway. Oh. Man. Bit of allergies today. But I think the wind's blowing in a little strong. Oh, I had an idea on what I wanted to talk about earlier. And I really just do not remember what that idea was. I know I was thinking about something, but I cannot for the life of me think of it now. Oh. Yeah, well, so I don't know how many people have kind of had a dream house in their head. Because, like, my wife and I have done this a couple of times where we've just kind of had some fun planning out what our dream house would be. And it's a lot of fun. But not always the same when we do it, because it's kind of shifted a little bit over time to be different. Just as our own kind of wants and what we've thought about, what we need has changed, because we used to want we used to have like a real big dream house that had a ton of rooms and a bunch of bedrooms, like I think it was 5 bedrooms, 3 living rooms, and then there was a lot to it, but it's kind of scaled down a bit now, I think. At least for me, what I want is more of a like 4-bed, because I want a spare room and then a room for 2 kids, and then if we want a 3rd kid, we can have a 3rd kid, and then and then like a master bathroom, and then 2 other full bathrooms, like 4 bed, 3 bath. I'd still like 2 kind of living areas, like a den and a parlor, if you're gonna use more descriptive words for them, but pretty much just 2 living rooms, and then a nice kitchen and a dining room. I mean, I think that's all you really need. But then, so my sister, I think I've already said, is building the house. Well, they're building it out of pretty much a shed. They're finishing out the inside of a shed and giving it like plumbing and electricity and all of that. So I had an idea, maybe like if we build a house or have a house, then we could also do something like that, but not have to get a very big shed, and then like instead of multiple rooms and a kitchen sink and all that, just like add have like a window unit for a air conditioner, and then have a like finish it out and then put like a half bath in there so that you don't have to run inside to use the bathroom. And I feel like that'd be pretty good. But we've also thought just about, my wife's parents. We want them to... We're a little worried just because they're not in a great area for healthcare where they live. Like, it's just not got very good healthcare around there. And so we want them to kind of move up more close to where we live because they've got really good health care here. And so we want to try and get them to move on up here some. But we were thinking, like, if we got our dream house, we could kind of have a smaller, like, tiny house for them. Not tiny, like still a few hundred square feet probably, but like enough for a bedroom, a small like kitchenette kind of thing, so, or maybe a full kitchen, because then they could cook their own meals if they wanted to, or join us for a meal. We'd probably just want them to join us for every meal anyway, so. But yeah, like pretty much like a 1-bedroom apartment, but as a separate structure. And then, like, even if they didn't want to use that, or even if they found their own place, it could be like a nice guest house. Because, like, if there's a larger house with all the more, a utility room in the big house, that's what you need for, like, laundry and stuff. But, yeah, if you have somewhere else to do, like, your laundry and, like, have kind of separate place with all the utilities, then you could have then you could have like probably just a couple hundred square feet, because like if you have like a decent living area with enough room for like a couch, a couple of chairs, and a TV, like that's not too big. That's like 12 foot by 12 foot maybe. So a big one for a smaller place like that at least would be like 200 square feet. And then you have like a good sized bedroom that's like, yeah, like 150 square feet, and then a full bathroom that's like, I don't know, bathrooms are pretty small actually, but we want it to be able to have like a walk-in tub if we needed to, in case they need that getting older. So probably another 100 square foot. But yeah, like that's all you need. And then off in the corner of the living area, you could have like a tiled off section with a sink and a small stove. Probably not an oven, but could just use the main house for that. Oh, but definitely something kind of thought about. It's just different ways of making it work, because it's one of those dreams that's always nice to have, and it's not too big, so I think one day maybe you could manage it. Anyway, I gotta get to work now, so y'all have a good day. Well, I guess I'll for y'all. Talking to you in just a second. And we're back. Well, while I was working this morning, I was listening to some podcasts, and both of the podcasts I listened to were talking a lot about advertisements and just how different kind of advertisements work, and how it's kind of changed over time. And I was thinking, because I pay for YouTube Premium because I don't have unlimited data on my cell phone plan. So if I want to watch any kind of ad, or not ad, any kind of video without connecting to Wi-Fi, I have to download it. So I needed that, and then also I just was tired of all the ads. But I've had it for a few years now, and I've seen a lot of people like complain about YouTube Premium, saying, "Oh, it costs so much for that." But like, it's like when I originally got it, I think it was $10, and now it's $12 a month. And that's on the monthly plan, not on the yearly plan. And like, I don't know about other people, but I watch YouTube as my main source of just, so I use YouTube for podcasts, and I also use YouTube for most of my entertainment videos. So in total, I probably use it, I'd say like 6 hours a day minimum, just because I listen to podcasts through the YouTube Music now, and I listen to those at work. Plus, I do just normal YouTube videos from like probably 24 different channels. I watch those just in the evenings if I am not doing anything else, or if I need some background noise or something like that. So it's probably closer to 8 hours a day on average that I'm using that service. And like times 30 days, that's 160 hours every month. And then 160 hours times, I think it's $12. So it's less than, so it's like more than 10 hours. So it's less than 10 cents an hour. Like, but like that, people are complaining about the price from what I've seen, and I just feel like it's not that much, considering like it's the same price as a single fast food meal. But I think it's just because the content is already out there for free, people kind of expect it to be cheaper, I guess. I don't know. It's weird, because like ads are the reason it's free. And so removing ads means that they don't make money on it unless you pay for it in another way. And so you add back a certain amount, and I'm guessing that they are going to make a lot more money, probably at least twice as much money from the subscription you pay than they would have for the ads that you would have watched instead. I'm guessing they would have made more, just because they're considering all of it when pricing that subscription. But like, and you get all these other things on top of it, and it just doesn't feel like a bad deal to me. But I think what it really is that people are just getting annoyed with having to pay dozens of subscriptions in order to watch everything they want to watch. And then a lot of these things still have ads on them, like Prime Video. You pay a lot more. It's like $18 a month now, but you also get the free shipping, and like they just throw so much stuff on top of that it's kind of ridiculous. I wish they had a version that was just free shipping, or just free shipping plus Prime Video, so that you could actually see how much you were paying towards each, because they bundle it all together, and it just gets ridiculous, because I'm not going to use half the things that are available for Amazon Prime, so I don't want to pay for them. But business models have just changed so much over the past 20 years, shifting from one kind of model to another, that I feel like people have just gotten lost in the changes it all, and it just kind of feels ridiculous, because YouTube has changed so much for having ads, or they used to have like very limited advertising, and then they increased the advertising, but it's become harder for individual people to make money on YouTube, so creators are more and more having to do sponsorships, which feel like ads inside the video. So you can't ignore those sponsorships. And then, so you're having to pay to remove some ads, but not all the ads. And I know Spotify is just terrible. That's why I'm not putting this on Spotify, because it's a complicated system that doesn't even work half the time, because like you have to go through a bunch of multiple third parties to get your stuff uploaded, and then Spotify puts ads. They're not going to pay you, so you have to put ads in yourself. And on top of your stuff with ads, Spotify puts their own ads, but they're not going to pay you for those ads for a podcast. They'll only do it if it's music, and you have like special rights to it. Yeah, it's just a lot. But it all is kind of getting more and more complicated when it would be nice if it was simple. But one of them is that I listen to is the Safety Third podcast, and I think I've talked about it before, but that's the podcast that they were talking about starting YouTube and inspired me to do this. And so, but the main guy on there, William Osman, has started a separate streaming network for all of his stuff and like the kind of people around his open source like it's this whole brand now, but it was originally like essentially a science fair for adults, but it's like a creator community event. And so he created that, and then off of that created different kind of content platforms, and has now created the streaming site. And so I signed up for that because I really like him and all the other guys around there and want to support their stuff, because it feels a lot more just a lot better than some of the other stuff. But I'd like to continue watching them on YouTube, just because YouTube is a little more of a big business and has streamlined it. But I get that they want to do their own thing so that they don't have to deal with all this changing ad stuff, and it can be a little more consolidated and not be as disparate, because everything's kind of in a million different places now, and just getting all that content has become a nightmare on its own. But I think it'll get better eventually. It's just kind of hard to navigate, especially as somebody trying to start it myself. It'd be nice if I could get YouTube ad revenue, which takes a lot of views and so many subscribers, and like, I don't remember exactly what it was. I think it was like 40,000 views a month. And you need to start, and you need to produce like a certain number of videos. And yeah, it's just kind of crazy how big you have to get before you can even start making ads. But you can set up other revenue streams as well, like Patreon and memberships. But those are also, memberships are exclusive to people who make a certain amount of content, numbers of views. So it's kind of like hard to start out, but maybe I'll get there eventually. So we'll see. That was a good lunch. Ross and I were talking about school lunches, like just different kind of things we took, and talking about, nowadays you cannot bring anything with peanuts into schools because of the risk of peanut allergies. And we were saying how growing up we both ate a peanut butter and jelly sandwich every single day. And it's thinking how that's something that has changed, and it really there really have been more allergies. You're not just imagining it if you think that too. Like, there are more allergies than there used to be. But I've seen multiple theories about what's causing an increase in allergens, or allergies, not allergens. But, I mean, there's a lot of different kind of opinions on that. So there's nothing like concrete yet, but I do know that all the pediatricians and doctors we talked to with our daughter said that you need to, if you want to prevent those, if you want to prevent allergies, you can kind of expose yourself to the allergens when you're pregnant and when your child is younger. Like, there's a lot of things that they can't have when they're younger, so you have to wait a little bit. But like honey, you're not supposed to give them before they turn 1, which honey's not a big allergen, but yeah, it's something you're supposed to wait until they're 1, but then you can give it to them after that. I mean, our daughter loves honey, so. But it's also kind of weird seeing, there's tons of health advice online, but just talking to doctors about kind of what's better and what's worse and what's healthier for kids. And all the doctors we have said pretty much the same thing, that natural sugars are not bad as long as you don't completely overdo it. You don't need to worry about natural sugars. Added sugars are where the danger lies mainly. And then, like, pretty much the less processed, the better a lot of times. So we've kind of gone more into the more natural foods. I mean, we still get all kinds of things, and like we still get Pop-Tarts. Well, we get the H-E-B brand of Pop-Tarts, which have less preservatives in them, but like they're still not great health-wise, but they're a little better. But anyway, we all our daughter's snacks are kind of just essentially dried fruits and like dried yogurt, stuff like that, where it's more natural things that are just dried, and they don't keep as well, so like they'll only stay good for like a week or two, but you use them all up. And then like her baby food, she has little like puree pouches, and they don't cost too much, but they stay good for a while. But they're just literally pureed fruit and that's it. And it's just but yeah, back to what I was originally talking about is, so we've kind of had her eat a lot of peanut, not a ton, but like we've given her peanut butter here and there, and try and give it to her a few times as a snack, just so that she is exposed to it and her body doesn't react adversely to it later on. But we tried to kind of make sure she has a little bit of everything that might be a potential allergen that she can have already. Like, we haven't given her shellfish, but that's not an allergy I'm particularly worried about. More concerning is like tree nuts, peanuts, dairy, gluten, stuff like that. But she's had all that and doesn't seem to have any allergies, so that's good. But it's weird to think that we're going to have to change her diet when she goes to school, because we're going to have to make sure not to include certain things. I mean, I don't think they'll ever ban gluten, but I could see them banning tree nuts in addition to peanuts, and just like smaller things like that. Which, I mean, I am like, there's a lot of pecans in my diet just because that's my main snack food, is pecans at work, which I only like a couple, or like a dozen or 2 dozen a day probably, but I eat pecans every day. Most mornings I get pecan coffee, and then a few of the little desserts I like to get and eat have pecan in them, like pecan sandies, or there's these chocolate chip cookies with pecans, and then there's these like little cocoa date rolls with pecans that I like. And so like I eat more pecan than I think most people do, probably more than like 99% of people. And so I'm very glad she's not allergic to pecans, and she likes all those desserts too, but she hasn't had straight pecan just because it's a little too, I don't know, she might like it, but it's still a little, straight pecans are still not quite where she is on food kind of texture. But there's a few different things. And then I also eat peanuts in stuff. Like, I really like peanut butter. There was a like month or two where I just ate like spoonfuls of peanut butter for a snack if I needed a little extra food. And one of my favorite candies is mazapan. It's like this Mexican candy that's just sugar and peanuts, and I think there's a little bit of flour in it. And then it's just kind of this brick of peanutty, sugary, like dust that's compressed into little bricks. It's really good. Like, I really like it. But yeah, if anybody is allergic to any kind of nut, peanut, tree nut, pecan, they probably do not need to come by our house, because that would not be good. But, you know, it's one of those things where it's hard to make everything open to everybody, just because you never know what problems somebody might have, and you never want to exclude people, but you definitely don't want to include people when there's a very active risk like that. So it's one thing I never really had to deal with growing up, but you know, when my daughter gets old enough that she's inviting people over and we're having other people's kids at our house, we probably need to make sure nobody's allergic to any kind of nut. But I've known people who are allergic to a lot of different things. I mean, one of my sisters is allergic to some stuff. She's thought it was like 5 different things, but never really been quite sure. I think she got a test done, but I can't remember what exactly it was. But yeah, at one point she thought it was gluten, but it is not gluten. So that's good because she's vegetarian, and so being gluten-free and vegetarian is not gonna be very fun. But yeah, there's just so many different dietary restrictions that kind of food is just becoming one of those things that is gonna get complicated, or is getting complicated, but it's not really a bad thing because it just means there's so many more options available that people can try. It just means it's one of those things to just be mindful of, and remember to tell anybody if you have food allergies and ask before giving people food. You know, my sister-in-law is allergic to pecans. Not like bad, just kind of a little bit, but she can't, like, I don't actually know if she can eat pecans or not, but I know she definitely can't, have or be around them without sneezing. And so I need to ask her, because I was planning on making like 2 different pecan dishes for 4th of July, because we're celebrating them. And I need to remember to ask and make sure those are okay to bring. Anyway. Oh, that's all for now. Fourth and final drive of the day. Oh, it is Friday, and I'm definitely ready for this one. Oh, well, I was just looking at the Discord for the game store, my local game store where I'm part of the Discord for their Legion group, and they're having a tournament tomorrow. And I have not played in a year and a half, and there's been like there's been an extremely large rules update that overhauled most of the game. Well, not most, I'd say half the game. Plus, like, every single card has been updated, and I just do not have the current knowledge to play, I feel like. But they might not have enough people to do a full tournament, so I was thinking I might offer to join, but I know that I haven't played in a while, and the games can take a long time, and I'm just not sure. And I think I still have a bit of, I don't know if I would call it social anxiety, but I just, meeting up with strangers to do something like this. Like, it's people I've talked to a little bit online, but not really much in person. So I'm just not 100% sure. I might actually go and try to watch some of the games more than... Might go and try and watch more than play if they don't need an extra. Because I think that might be a good way to start getting back into it. It just takes so much time, and I feel really bad just leaving my wife at home on the weekends, which is the one time I get to be home, so that she can do her own thing. It's one of the hard parts about being a family with a stay-at-home parent is whoever ends up staying home has a harder time getting out and doing stuff, and since the time away from home is so unbalanced, I just feel like I need to spend more time at home because she's home all week when I can't be. But I guess that's the thing, is I can't be home because I have to work. So whenever it's the weekend, as long as I don't just take off and abandon her at home, then it should be fine to go for like a couple hours and do something. But I just have a hard time with it because I'm also just not a very social person. I have gotten a bit better since like high school, but I'm still very introverted, I guess, and I don't like going out and doing things with people who I'm not very familiar with. I heard a siren, but I don't see the emergency vehicle, so I guess it's fine. Trying to make sure I don't need to pull over real quick. Nope, I'm good. Anyway, yeah, I'm really wanting to get more games in, but I don't know if a tournament is the best first way to do it. So it's really just, I think I just haven't done anything like this in a while, and so it's hard to get outside my comfort zone. And I'm still just kind of struggling with that, because, I mean, recording this podcast was outside my comfort zone at first, but I don't know, I haven't shared it with anybody, so it just still feels like a very personal thing that, you know, I was looking last night, and I've had like 75 unique views, I think, or unique viewers. So thank you to everybody who has viewed. But there's a lot of people, actually, when you think about it. Like I'm driving around with like a dozen people listening to me talk in some ways, so it's kind of weird to think about. But since I don't know it at the time, and like I don't know who listens other than my wife, I don't know how many I don't know how much it really, counts as any sort of public interaction, because it's very one-sided. I'm putting this out there, and I mean, it's called broadcasting for a reason. It comes from the technique of the ancient technique of throwing out your seeds when you were planting a crop. If you're broadcasting, you just kind of throw your seeds for whatever you're trying to grow in just all directions, and that's what a broadcast is. And that kind of is where the term came from, because it originally referred to radio, and where it was literally just sending a signal out in every single direction at once, as far as you had the power to send it. And so, that's what I'm doing, is I'm just kind of throwing it out there. And so I don't personally know anybody who listens to this other than my wife. And I'm hesitant to share it with friends and family somewhat, because I know that does kind of make it more of a social interaction in a way. And I don't know, it's just one of those things where I'm fine talking to somebody for hours on end, but just kind of having somebody listen to me who I know, I don't know, it feels a little weird. Just, I guess I'm not entirely used to the idea of it yet, but I'm gonna be just putting a couple hours of content a week, or I guess probably like around 3 hours a week now. Let's see, 42 minutes times 5 is 210 divided by 6, 3.5, 4 hours. Well, 3.5 hours probably. Anyway, I get thrown off on so many tangents. But anyway, what I was saying in the first place is, I need to just get out of my comfort zone more, and I've been trying to do that, but it's still just, it's hard to do. And once you get into a good routine, you don't really like breaking it. And I've gotten into a good routine of just staying home on the weekends and spending some time with my family, and I'd like to keep doing that, but maybe once a month or so it wouldn't be a bad idea to get out of the house for a nap, 2 hours or 3 or 4 hours, and just do something like that. I'd like to get out and do more as a family, but it's hard with a toddler, because there's not as, movies don't really work, and restaurants aren't really great. Plus, they're so expensive these days. It just feels like I'd want to, go do something, like a fun activity, but my daughter's a little too small for a lot of activities still. She's not even 2 yet, so yeah, it's just one of those things I guess you need to be conscious of, that if you want to keep getting out and being social as a parent, it takes a lot more effort. But it's still doable, so I'm gonna try and do it. But that's all I have time for today, so I guess next week we'll find out whether or not I actually went to a tournament. That's all I got time for now. So